Hello.
Doug. Okay, now you can hear us. Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jan. George just joined us.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Doug. Hi. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Well, you probably have a pretty busy schedule.
I do.
What takes most of your time?
Wow, that's a good question. Right now, probably the skilled nursing facility investigations, which I've been doing for about 4 years now.
Really?
We publicly filed 3 of them now. We have one facility in Santa Cruz. We now have a second facility because we filed a case against the Mariner chain, and we filed a case against Brookdale. And those, I tend to be the lead counsel in all of them, so that takes a lot of my time. But we've been very busy this year. We settled fraudulent conduct cases against Amazon, Apple, several gyms, dating service sites, and those are legitimate businesses. And we spend a lot of time prosecuting elder financial fraud in the criminal side, and insurance fraud, and similar white collar crimes, securities fraud. We have active investigations going on all those fronts. So we're busy. We're very busy.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of what you do is kind of online investigation or investigating online businesses.
We do. It's a constant problem, and in order to effectively prosecute those cases, whether we do it under the unfair competition law, which is a civil prosecution, or whether we do it criminally, we frequently join task force groups of other prosecutors, other counties throughout the state, and the Attorney General. And so we're very busy trying to be an active part in taking on companies that try to use their size to abuse consumers. And we work with the feds, but not as much as we do with the Attorney General.
That's great to know, because I've always wondered what would happen if I had a grievance against some giant corporation like that. And you can't just get on the telephone anymore and, call somebody, because nowadays you end up in a phone tree. And
that's right. That's exactly right. Or you may be talking to somebody in India or Pennsylvania, either one. They don't know what you're talking about. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Okay.
Well, am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we can hear you, Jeff.
Loud and clear.
Good. It said I had a little mute thing going somewhere. Well, nice to see you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Chandra is my paralegal.
She's coming on.
That does most of the work in our unit. I just go along for the ride.
It's nice to know who actually does the work. Good.
Yes.
Right.
Doug, I made you a co-host so you can load slides if you wish.
Okay. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll try that out.
Okay.
Dave?
Oh.
Yes.
Something that I'm noticing coming up that, maybe your speaker plans to address is some of the fraud and bad information related to vaccines. And just, hopefully that's something that'll be included, because I know I'm seeing and hearing and trying to address things, and I'm sure others are too.
Okay.
Hi, Jeff. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Jack. How have you been?
I've been well.
Good. And Donna, nice to see you too.
Yeah, Jeff, we've been meeting more lately with everything.
Donna, every meeting you're there. It's great.
Well,
yeah, she's a marvel.
Donna gets around.
We've just been having a lot of common issues that we're working together on. It's great to have Jeff here.
Thank you.
All right, welcome to Senior Life Online. And there's our website if you'd like to tune in. Maxine is great about keeping our website up to date on new activities and the latest and current activities, past activities. And we actually have links to several YouTube videos of past speakers that we've had. So tune in there and sign up for our newsletter. And as we mentioned, suggest future projects. Donations are always welcome. And when you go on to Amazon and purchase anything, remember to make Scotts Valley Senior Life your favorite charity on Amazon Smile. Donations go directly to benefit senior citizens around Scotts Valley. Scotts Valley is an all-volunteer group of seniors. Nearly 100% of donations received are used to directly help seniors living in the area. In the past, we've purchased automatic electronic defibrillators at Montevalli and Spring Lakes Park, an exercise machine for Montevalli, patio umbrellas for the Scotts Valley Senior Center. And when it's not COVID, we actually do in-person workshops, usually around senior health and education. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing those maybe even by fall. We'll see. No promises though. And future projects to benefit senior citizens around Scotts Valley are the new Performing Arts Center. And something that if you'd like to contribute, then that's something that we would pass on to the new Performing Arts Center. We started an Adopt a Senior program in collaboration with local high school students. And one of our concepts is to come up to create gift baskets with high schools. Citizens and high school students be able to interact because we think it would benefit both. So that's a project. Oh, looks like my internet's not too good. So I'm gonna move on. We're recording this entire video. We're going to post it on YouTube later. So if you don't want to be involved in the recording, there's a way that you can disable your video feed. And I see that some of you have done that. So that's a good thing. That's fair. And if you'd like to conceal your phone number, I don't even know if it shows phone numbers. So anyway, to join the audio, click Join Audio. And today, our speaker is Douglas Allen, Assistant District Attorney for Santa Cruz County. He'll be discussing how seniors can protect themselves from scams. And with that, let's see if I can stop sharing. And so you're good to go, Dave, if you want to turn it over to Doug.
Doug, you should be able to go right ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. That's my son playing football against USC. That's a different story. All right. This is who we are from your local district attorney office. We come from a division with the Consumer Protection and Environmental Enforcement Unit. And as I was casually discussing earlier, with great support from our friend Jeff Roselle, we engage in enforcement all over the state of California. We're not just enforcing local offenders. So we get the big companies and the small companies and the out and out criminals that invade our county with their scams. Everything from legitimate companies that steal your credit card and don't like to give it back on auto renews, to trying to enforce resident protections for skilled nursing facilities, and many other things, to also a host of criminal prosecutions. In the course of this, we encounter a lot of fraud and a lot of scams. If I can, there it goes. So there are a lot of COVID-19 scams, gift card scams. We're going to run through a bunch of these today, try to give you some hopefully additional understanding of what you're up against. These scammers are very talented. They're very organized. They frequently work with organized crime, and they take victims every day. I unfortunately get reports on an ongoing basis of victims of online scams, in-person scams, all sorts of scams. And I wish I could spend days explaining a lot of these things to you, but unfortunately we don't have that much time. So we do want you to protect yourself against COVID-19 scams. What do we know about COVID-19? Well, it's very scary. That's number one. So that means that you know that scammers are going to try to seize the opportunity to play on people's fears. And the second thing we know about COVID-19 is that there's all kinds of information out there. A lot of it's crazy. And it's hard to discern that. So trying to navigate your way through vaccination protocols and the latest social distancing regulations and everything else that comes along is not necessarily easy. So the scammers, the most common part of a COVID-19 scam is scammers will approach you in multiple ways, whether it's online, through your phone with a text, or knocking on your door like this guy. And what they can try to do is get your personal information sufficient so that they can stand in your shoes and bill your providers for your money, your benefits. And they want to get your Medicare information. So as a general rule, be very careful about opening any hyperlink, whether it's sent to you on the telephone or by email. Don't interface with unknown individuals, no matter how nice they sound. Ignore offers and ads for testing. Testing and treatments and vaccinations are all available through government subsidies. You don't have to go out and pay for them. You can get this information by contacting your local public health agency or your actual medical provider, and they can direct you to the right places. Don't fall for some solicitation that is trying to tell you this is the only way to do it. I hope everybody's seeing my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, we can see it fine, Doug.
Good. Let me know if you can't. Unfortunately, I have to include this slide every time I make one of these presentations, because notwithstanding the fact that we've tried to get this message out there, this still is a constant issue. And that is, people are being approached to solve some problem, pay a bill, whatever, with gift cards that you have to go down to Target or to Walgreens or to Macy's or to Safeway and buy. And they want to be paid in gift cards. No legitimate vendor, especially a government vendor, gets paid in gift cards. They don't accept them. And I did a radio program not that long ago before the COVID, but the opening remarks of the host pointed out to me that she'd just been scammed by a gift card type scam where they wanted $1,000 to pay a past PG&E bill. Well, in the first instance, she didn't owe PG&E any money. In the second instance, PG&E doesn't take gift cards. The moment somebody asks you to pay any kind of obligation with gift cards, it's a scam. That should be a big red flag. Don't do it. Don't buy the gift cards. Don't pay them, and stop communicating with them and file a police report, please. So this is the latest scam. I've seen a rapid increase in this. And these are actual scam links that we track down, knowing that they're scams. Now, if you can see the portion on the right here, those are legitimate links. And you notice that FedEx has FedEx in the address and the link. And you'll see an order number, and you'll see things that relate to something you're actually doing business with. But what do you do when you get a message from United States Postal Service or FedEx or any of the others? We all do business this way now. We all order things online. We all want to know when the shipment's going to get here. It's hard enough to deal with Amazon. It's hard enough to deal with the Postal Service or UPS or any of these others. But the scammers are out there knowing everybody's doing business this way, so they send random text messages. Now, what is the consequence of erroneously clicking on one of these links? What happens to you? Well, what happens to you is your phone gets taken over. All the information in your phone gets downloaded to their computer, and they get to do whatever they want with that. And usually it's get into your bank accounts, get into your credit cards, get into your government benefits, get into your retirement, and steal the money. We've had people steal Social Security numbers, and we've ended up tracing as many as 100 different people using one Social Security number. So this is very prevalent, and this is the latest thing. What do we see about these different texts? Well, we get a clue because the address doesn't look like FedEx, but I'll caution you about that. And my caution is this. You can change the address of FedEx from FedEx.com to FedEx.net. They're completely different addresses. And that's all the change that has to happen. And all of a sudden your information is going somewhere besides to FedEx. So the upshot of that is be suspicious of contacts you get. Unless you actually can identify that contact as being legitimate, don't go to the link. Going to the link is all it takes. And then you've lost enormous amounts of information, which is going to cost you a lot of money.
I got one of those today, Doug.
We're all getting
Like
them.
that.
Yeah, we're all getting them now. I get them pretty much at least every other day. That's one of the latest forms. Excuse me. One of the things that we seniors get is the constant solicitation that plays on our heartstrings, the grandparent scam and the grandkid scam. Grandkid is in jail in Florida. He needs to make bail. He just needs $1,000. And and he that's my allergies, incidentally. I already had COVID a long time ago, and I've had both shots, and I'm doing fine. So excuse me for that. The grandparent and grandkid scams are still prevalent, and they happen online. They happen by phone. They happen in person. The typical attributes of your grandparent scam is they're always in a hurry. He needs to bail out tonight. You have to do this right now. You can't wait till morning. You can't call anybody. So log the call, write it down, and hang up. It's a scam. But like I've told many before, the thing you got to understand is when they call about your grandkid, they're going to know the name of your grandchild. They're going to know the name of your daughter or daughter-in-law. They're going to know the maybe even the age of your grandchild. They might know what some of his favorite things are. How do they know all this? Because we live our lives online these days. We have social media. We post when we're going places and doing things. The scammers get that information frequently through legitimate and nefarious means, And then they build a profile of the person they're going to attack. And then they go after you and they sound extremely convincing. So when they tell you, don't try to call his parents because he's embarrassed, disregard that advice. Call the parents. Find out where he is. Find out if he's in trouble. Call other people. Call the authorities. And when you do figure out it's a scam, please give us a report and let us know what happened, because you never know when we might be following down on the scammers and you might provide the missing link as to how we can prosecute them. Same thing with the foreign lottery or inheritance scams. These are very sophisticated. I just got a message just the other day that somebody thought they had won the lottery, either in England or Spain. And all they had to do was open an account to receive the money. Of course, you have to put some money in an account to open an account. You need enough money to pay for some costs or expenses. They're minimal, but you're going to make millions of dollars. No, you're not. You're going to lose the money you put in there. And even if they deposit money in your account, when you go to try to take it out, it'll be gone. And if you get yourself wrapped up in it, in any extent, you're just becoming a party. So maybe they'll have you create the account where other people who are being defrauded put their money into it so that they can take it out. Well, now you're laundering criminals' money. So don't fall for this unsolicited request that you're going to get an inheritance from somebody you don't know. It is a scam, and it goes on all the time. If it's too good to be true, it isn't true. So when you shop online, everybody wants to do that. It's time to make sure that you're dealing with legitimate websites. How do you do that? Well, there's a little green indicator and a lock that help you to understand what's a real site and what's a fake site. Once again, all they have to do is change just a few characters in the website, and then you're dealing with a fake site. So you got to look at these things to make sure you're getting the right thing. Before you order something online, know your return policies and rights. Take the time to look that up. What are you going to do if when it arrives at your house, it doesn't fit, or it's broken, or it comes from Walmart and they throw the jam in with the potato chips and let them all mix together? So you got to be able to call them back, and you got to be able to affect a return. Are they going to give you a shipping label? Are they going to let you take it to your local parcel post store and just return it and they pay for it? You want to know that. When you're shopping online, look at the reviews. The review sites are important. See if a lot of people are having trouble returning their items or issues like that. Keep your software and virus protection up to date. Please don't do shopping of any kind on any public Wi-Fi. It's just, the scammers are out there just waiting to take your information. So be cautious about that. Pay with a credit card, or even better, I hate to promote them, but Apple Pay or Google Pay or one of these other types of interfaces that allows you to keep your credit card data away from the vendor that you're shopping with. If Apple gets breached, then you got a problem. Same with Amazon and Google. And be smart. If it's too good to be true, it isn't true. Okay, some of the things we look for online. The website has the green indicator. The website has the padlock, which you can click on. And if you click on it, you'll see a certificate that'll say the connection is secure, or the connection isn't secure. If it's not secure, end your inquiry there. If you don't have a valid certificate, you shouldn't be messing around with it. Even if you get a valid certificate, there still may be a scam there. So you still have to be cautious and look at reviews and other things. Spoofing. Spoofing, again, is like that grandparent scam. They claim that they're somebody official and you need to act, and you need to act right now. The jury commissioner doesn't call and threaten that the police are going to show up at your door and arrest you if you don't show up for jury duty. That's just not how they operate. You get things in the mail. The IRS doesn't operate that way. When you're going to be audited, you're going to know it, because you're going to get all kinds of notices in the mail, and you're going to get contacted, not in ways by a phone where you have to pay the bill right now to avoid the FBI showing up and taking you away. That's not the way it works. You go through an adjudication, whether it's administrative or judicial, one or the other, in everything that you do. So please don't fall for that. Just hang up and stop talking to them. Again, these people are very, very good, and they will know a lot of things about you. You'd be shocked. If you want to understand how easy it is to find out things about you, just Google your name. Google your own name on the internet and see what comes up. You'd be shocked at what comes up. It'll tell you where you live, where you've lived in the past. The history goes back 30, 40, 50 years. Unfortunately, some of us have lived that long. That's true. Phone scams. If you don't recognize the number, generally don't answer it. Now, some of us, have people like Jeff Roselle that calls us with a blocked number, and we take a guess. Is it really Jeff, or is it some solicitor? So I answer it, and then you hear the hesitation for the automatic thing to come on. But if you're not expecting a call from Jeff, I would suggest you don't answer it. And I would suggest that if they really want to get a hold of you, they'll leave a message. And if they leave a message, then you can evaluate who it is a little better. They're not trying to sell you the next auto warranty because your automobile warranty is expiring. I don't care if my automobile warranty expires, incidentally. That's fine with me. But this is a common online scam. Don't answer the number. There are constant Medicare alert scams. They're constantly calling us that our benefits have been misappropriated or they're in jeopardy in some fashion. That's a scam. Medicare doesn't operate that way. If your benefits have been misappropriated, they probably wouldn't tell you anyway. But you can always contact official agencies and major vendors. You need to contact your bank. You go to the Wells Fargo website through the access that you have. Don't go through some phone call, text, or email that is getting you to go to their link. You go through the website that you know with the identifying information that you know. You go down and visit the bank. You call your bank's number that you get independently. Do not respond to the solicitation. Once again, unknown callers are trying to get your Medicare number and any other personal information they get. Never give out your personal information, even if you believe it's a legitimate call from an unsolicited caller. You find another way to do it. I've encountered people that have lost thousands upon thousands of dollars on online dating scams. I don't care how old you get, we still follow our hearts. And we start connecting with somebody who sounds like they're so sweet and so wonderful. And, we miss all our old friends, and it's nice to have somebody who listens to us and talks to us about the things that we want to talk about. And they have so much in common with us. It's amazing. Remember what I said. They can go online, develop a profile of you in order to target you. Out of 1 billion people, they can target you alone. And they can do it from India. They can do it from South Africa. They can do it from South America. And then they do the dating scam. And they lead you down the primrose path, but they need money for some reason. They got to travel. They got to solve a problem. They have a problem with the police. Don't send money to people you meet online, period. They create a profile, they move fast, and they gain your trust quickly. And then somewhere along the way, they need you to get money, and they won't, they find excuses to not be able to meet with you in person or to close this loop. Now, this is an online scam that's as ancient as time itself. They used to be done more in person, and they're a little sophisticated that way. But we have all kinds of sophisticated scams that target people, so don't fall for it. We all get gasoline. We all put our credit card into the pump. But if you can see this arrangement, all you need is something that plugs into the card skimmer down here, and they put a little sender up here, and the gas station doesn't even know that this has gone on, because the key to a lot of these pumps is available generally. You just buy it generically, and your information gets sent to the cartel, and they start charging your card before you even drive out of the station. Yes, it helps to look for the little seal there, but frankly, the best way to do it is to do it through Apple Pay or to go inside the station and do it with the inside cash register. We have a very disturbing rise in contractor fraud. A lot of us are trying to get contractors to repair damage from the fires, do additions to our houses because they're worth so much money these days, all kinds of things like that. Go online and get the contractor's license number, which should be on the truck. But you see this example here, that's not a contractor's license. That's a business license. And that's a fraud right there, because all contractors are supposed to put their contractor's license number on the door of their truck. And they have to give you their contractor's license. And I'm prosecuting half a dozen cases right now of people who have stolen thousands of dollars from seniors because they get an excessive down payment. The law is that a down payment has to be no more than $1,000 or 10% of your contract price, whichever is less. So if they're asking up front for more money than $1,000, don't give it to them, and you should be suspicious of them immediately. There's a reason they're doing that. If they say they need money for materials, well, when the materials are delivered and they're sitting in your driveway and you see a receipt from the supplier of the materials, then you can pay them for the materials, and you should call the supplier and make sure that they already paid him. If you want to know if a contractor's license detail if his license is valid, all you do is look it up online. There it is. It tells you about the contractor. It tells you what he is, tells you when his license history, tells you if he has any violations, tells you if he has workers' comp insurance. How to protect your money on a regular basis. Freeze your credit if you can. It's really not that hard. And if you want to go out and get a loan, most of us don't need loans at this point in our life. But if you really want to go out and get a loan and buy that Ferrari and you're going to put a loan on it, that's fine. Then you can just contact the credit agency and unfreeze a couple of the credit agencies for 24 hours, get your loan, and then you refreeze them. But if you don't do that and they get your identifying information, they can go out and get a loan in your name. I've had people do this to me and my wife and try it multiple times. You'd be amazed how many cars I almost bought in Missouri. So freeze your credit. Check your bank statements on a regular basis. Keep track of your credit card accounts. You can get push notices from your credit card companies and from your banks every time that you spend money. You know when you spend money, so if you get the push notice, you can ignore it. But when you get a push notice and you didn't spend the money, then you should contact the bank. Check with your friends and family about what the latest scams are. Don't let people pressure you into things. Do your research before you buy things or you respond to things. Don't answer unknown phone calls. We all get them. Don't push the links on anything. And be really suspicious of people who do door-to-door solicitations. That's one of the most prolific areas of fraud that I've ever seen. There are some legitimate door-to-door solicitations these days, but very few. Okay, and always remember, if it sounds like you're going to make a whole lot of money and you've been waiting for this all your life, the answer is you're probably going to lose what little money you have. Get good online passwords, not password or password one. Contact your bank if you suspect a scam. Let the bank know about it. Make a report with the FTC. Make a report with local law enforcement, including us. Make a report to the company or agency, the real company or agency. We had a scam where people thought they were paying bills at a company. We found out one of the lower echelon people in the company was diverting payments to himself that were supposed to go to the company. So make sure you get official reports that show that you paid the bills from whoever you're doing business with, especially if you're not familiar with them, and make an identity theft report to the FTC. There's a list of agencies that you can get information from and you can contact to inform them about scams. Don't hesitate to make use of these resources. And there's always our consumer protection line. And if you get that, we'll see if we can't solve the problem. We'll see if we can direct you to where you can. We'll do the best we can. So, questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Thanks, Doug. This is great. You're covering a lot of stuff, and it's kind of scary to hear about it all. You mentioned along the way skilled nursing facilities, and can you talk about what particular fraud happens? Obviously, they're often elderly folks in those homes, and how are they extra vulnerable? Is it the same issues, or is it something different?
Well, there are a lot of common issues in the nursing industry, and we're working to try to curb a lot of them. When somebody gets into a nursing home, there should be a very professional organization that sets this up, and you should have an idea when you go in as to when you're going to come out. What we find is a lot of people get told, well, your money ran out, you got to leave on Monday, or you're going to have to start paying privately. Well, they're supposed to give you a 30-day notice, because when you're in a skilled nursing facility, you're a resident. It's not merely a patient. And they have to go through due process to get you out. And the first due process, they have to give you a 30-day notice. Obviously, if you're going to the hospital, that's an exception because you had an emergency, but you shouldn't have to go to the hospital because you should have been taken care of. They should have proper staffing, and the staffing should be posted so that you can see it. And so if you have a relative in skilled nursing, tell the administrator you want to see the daily posted staffing, and you want to know how many people were on duty and who they're responsible for. You want to make sure that they are complying with infection protocols, and they now have to report to the Center for Medicare Services on a regular basis of what their infection protocols are. They have policies for this. So a lot of this stuff is real care situations, but we also have circumstances where they erroneously obtain powers of attorney, and they get into people's bank accounts too. Now, that's usually not the nursing home operators themselves, it's other people involved, but not all these facilities have good security. If you have a relative in there, go visit them and look around. Make sure that people are changing their linens, make sure they're being turned, make sure that they have good records that they're eating their food, because two things that happen in nursing homes, most common we found, is they get bed sores because they don't get turned, and the bed sores end up killing them. And they lose weight rapidly because they don't wait to make sure that have a nurse there or a nurse assistant to make sure they're eating properly. So those are the two single biggest vulnerabilities for people in those places. And unfortunately, the impetus where a lot of things go wrong on this discharge notice situation is that the nursing homes get reimbursed 3-to-1 for a Medicare patient versus someone who's going off Medicare into Medicaid or Medi-Cal. And so it creates a substantial economic incentive to try to discharge people in a hurry. If you get a discharge notice, it should tell you that you have a right to appeal it. And if you appeal it, they can't discharge you until that appeal is concluded. So knowing your rights involving somebody in the skilled nursing facilities is very important. And under both California and federal law, there are lots of rights. And if you have any specific questions, call our consumer hotline and see if you can get a hold of me.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. I've gotten some emails about surveys that from theoretically, I mean, perhaps from the city of Santa Cruz, or just different things that I might be interested in responding to, but I just am not confident that it's real, that it could be something, you know, some kind of scam. Is there a way to know with that kind of thing?
Yes, there's a very simple way, and that is whatever agency claims to be contacting you, you contact that agency through its online presence at the Santa Cruz County website.
Okay.
And you talk to somebody that you know is actually in the agency, or if you feel really energetic, you can come down here and make somebody stay by appearing in person. But don't just respond to the notice. Contact the agency, ask them if they're sending out notices, ask them if this is a legit issue, and you know who's in charge of whatever program that is. That's how you deal with it.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. And I, maybe a couple months ago, I got something from Georgia or somewhere far away that was saying that there was going to be a lawsuit against me, and a text. And if I didn't respond right away, that there was nothing they could do, but I don't know. It was crazy, but I just ignored it. Is that the right thing to do?
That is the right thing to do. And I guarantee that was a scam.
Right.
If you're going to be sued in Georgia, you would know it before it ever happened.
Yeah.
And if somebody tries to sue you, they have to give you actual service of a summons and a complaint. So you have to get actual notice of it. Otherwise, it won't be worth the paper it's written on. So yes, that's, and what are the attributes of what you just told me about? It's an unsolicited, obscure means of communication, and it's urgent. It has to be dealt with right now.
Yes.
Those are monikers that are just giant red flags.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody
The
else?
other thing, the other thing that I had a question about is when you showed the contractor's license, that was just a 6-digit number versus what the business license was much longer. I couldn't.
That's correct. And you know, the person may have a legitimate business license, but the business license costs, you know, $250 to have a contractor's license. You have to demonstrate your skill, get either by experience or exam approval, and you have to have a bond, and you have to have insurance before the state contractor's license board will maintain your license. And that way, when you do business with that person, you're protected. If they fail to complete the job, you get to go collect against the bond. That's why they have it. But we've had several former contractors who, because of bad things that have happened in their lives, usually related to drugs or other dependency issues, who at one point were a contractor, but if you see that license is expired, when you go and check it out, don't rely on them, then you need to stop doing business with them. They're not licensed to do things on your property. And what they do is they get that big down payment. They claim they need it to go get all the materials. Well, we had one guy go pay his jail bail bond with it. So, and you know, he's defrauding an 87-year-old recovering cancer patient out of thousands of dollars. So it's really bad stuff. And we're prosecuting them, but don't be the victim in the first instance. Don't hire somebody who doesn't have workers' compensation insurance that's going to have cousin Jesse show up and do the work, because cousin Jesse's an employee. His son is an employee. Whether he's paid or he isn't paid, he's still an employee. And if he gets hurt on the job, if he sticks his foot in the wood chipper, the person who's responsible for that, if he doesn't have workers' compensation insurance, is the landowner, because all of a sudden you stand in the shoes of the employer. And all they have to show is he was hurt on the job. You don't even have to show negligence, and contributory negligence doesn't mean anything. So you're stuck with that. So please make sure they're insured. And I don't mean liability insurance. I mean workers' compensation insurance, and they have a valid contractor's license, and that they follow the rules, meaning they don't take excessive down payments, and they give you a written contract.
Thank you.
So I have a question.
Certainly.
I get frequent calls from the Firefighters Association or the Sheriff's Association or from a previous president with whom I want nothing to do, especially giving money. And my understanding is that you can say, put me on your do not call list. And then if they call you X amount of times, then you have recompense that you can go after. How do you get this to stop? A, can you? And B, can you really successfully get anything out of these people that constantly do that?
Well, you can block the number. You can put them on a do not call list. Unfortunately, the sleazier they are, the more often they use methodologies such as rotating random number changes,
Right.
And they connect through multiple numbers, and the person who's calling you unsolicited may have nothing to do with the former president or the firefighters or the police association. They may just be calling because you're a generous person and they know that you're a soft touch. So there you go. If you want to contribute to those people and you feel compelled to do so for whatever reason, including your generosity, then do so. But do so by contacting them directly, not through that phone call, but you circumvent that unsolicited contact. You go directly to that charity or whoever it is that you want to contribute to, and you contribute through their means set up. You don't owe anything to somebody who's calling you unsolicited. Best not waste your time talking to them.
But that's not my question. My question is there a way to get them to stop, or do we just, just put up with it as a part of life in the millennium?
You can fill out one of our online consumer complaint forms, and I could look at it and see if there's somebody that I can identify that's making improper unsolicited phone calls as a routine business practice, and I can do what I can to stop it. Yes. Usually through either working with other agencies or directly filing a unfair competition action. So yeah, we do have remedies. We don't always have the solution, but a lot of times we do.
Thank you.
Sure.
Doug, is that form something that's online? We go to your website and download the form, or?
Yeah, that's right. You can fill it out and get it to us. And all it is, it's an organized way to tell me what you're asking me about. And it's a good way to go through the claim so that I get a good understanding of what it is that is the problem. And then we can, we frequently reach out to other agencies or ask you to reach out to other agencies, or we act on it. Sometimes we accumulate multiple complaints and try to get something done. We had a problem with a propane provider locally, and we got a multitude of complaints on those forms about people not getting their propane tanks filled on a timely basis. And so we contacted the company, and they embarrassingly apologized, but they hired more people and got more drivers and started filling the propane orders on a regular basis. So sometimes we do have an impact, and I'm very happy to do that. That's just one that came to mind.
Donna had a question about something I've been experiencing too. And it's receiving email that confirms an order that I supposedly placed, and I'm supposed to click click if I didn't order it. And it sounds like Amazon or Apple or, you know, some major company like that. But, and I can get confused because I did order something through Amazon and they're not even talking about the same item.
And the answer is that is a scam 99% of the time. Amazon usually doesn't do that. And if you're really worried that your order, something happened to it, then you go back directly to Amazon through the manner in which you originally contacted them. You have an order number, you can contact their customer service and you can confirm whether or not there's a problem with your order. Don't respond to the unsolicited email or text, and do not click on that link, because now you've just compromised your computer or your phone. And if you do click on that link, take it to the Apple store if you have an Apple phone, or get to an IT person to help you save that device, shut it down, unplug it until you get that resolved.
Yeah, Doug, one of the things I've seen is it's usually a big ticket item that all of a sudden says you bought this $400 thing and click here if this is not you or you didn't mean to. And obviously that's the concern. You click on it, now you've opened your computer up. And I'm seeing a lot of them, and they'll see Norton or Apple or Amazon. And that was my point, is go to the website and check your orders, and you'll see there's no such phony order on it.
That's right. Anything else? Well, you guys are easy. Let me finish off what I tell, this isn't in my PowerPoint, but let me finish off with one thought for everybody here, because we all have this experience, or we have friends or relatives that have this experience. And that is, when you do your estate plan, which I do hope you do it with competent advice, and do it in such a way that whoever's going to run your estate, especially when you're still alive, whether it's you as trustee or somebody else, has lots of checks and balances. An old farmer friend of mine in my first job once chastised me for leaving the cash drawer open. I said, but everybody here, we know. And he said, well, don't tempt a good man to go bad. So don't tempt your relatives, your friends, or anybody else to go bad by misusing your money. We do a lot of, unfortunately, prosecutions of people who are close to our seniors who've just been tempted to somehow rationalize spending the senior's money when it amounts to theft, and then the senior gets left without their retirement or without their nest egg. So be diligent about those things.
And Doug, one more thing I thought of, I had my aunt had the grandmother's screen, and she was not online, but people don't realize they can get things from your mail, and no one thinks anything of what good do they get from stealing our mail, but they get a lot of information that way too. So just because someone's not online doesn't mean they can't find information.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. We have a big problem with mail theft, and you really want to try to discourage getting unsolicited credit card offers and things like that. Another reason to freeze your credit, because they can get that credit card offer, but they can't actually open the nefarious credit card or bank account without running that credit check. And if it's frozen, they can't get it.
Doug, this has been fascinating. I've learned a lot. And as George was telling you, this is all recorded, and we'll get it posted on our website so that people can go back and look at what was said, review your slides, and benefit from whatever it is that they missed in the talk. George, have you got something else you want to talk about?
I do. Tune in on Monday, May 17th. Our speaker will be Darshna Croskrey, who's the center coordinator at Scotts Valley Senior Center. And I know we've all been looking forward to the time when they will actually open up. And we're hoping that she'll have some announcement to that. So tune in again. And as Dave mentioned, you can go on to our website and you can get links to this Zoom and a lot of others. And it'll probably take me a week or two to get this processed, but we'll get it up there. And yeah, so thank you very much, Doug, for a great presentation. I learned a lot.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, everybody, for participating. Look forward to talking with you in 2 weeks, May 17th. Bye-bye now.
A great evening.